What is up, everybody? We have made it to the end of the War Room series, and just in the nick of time because we are just a few days away from the NFL draft. The intention was to get these all done with enough time to absorb these episodes if you were a fan of one of these teams. But I do appreciate you guys' patience. Welcome back to the First and Tuna podcast. I am your host, Big Tuna himself. See, I wanted to do this series as a way to dedicate an episode of sort to each team to really set the stage during this part of the offseason before the real offseason begins. See, here at First and Tuna, we really pride ourselves on not just reacting to things in a vacuum. It's very easy to do that. We try to be on the positive side of sports media here. Too often, does the negative get put under a microscope, when in reality, big picture does matter, honestly. That big picture is the story that each team season gets told. Our job here is to keep sight of each story, and as they're developing, kind of reference back to that overarching narrative, just so that way we don't lose sight how special each team season can be. That's kind of why I love football myself. Well, what does that mean, Tuna? Please speak English. Basically, there's a lot to cover, and I try to stay on the positive side of things. That's basically what that means. In a very wordy way that I tend to be. As a one-man show, there's 4 teams that I'm covering. 5 if we count the Battlehawks, and we haven't even had time to cover the Battlehawks since we're up against the draft here. But I do this for you guys because I know not everybody's just a fan of the things that I like. I want to cover the things that you guys like as well. So I appreciate your patience and support so far. As always, the best way to support us here at First and Tuna is to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it. I do appreciate you guys doing that so far. Oh, and why the green? A little out of character, but celebrating the first victory in the playoff series between the Celtics and the Heat. Yes, I am a Boston Celtics fan. But why, Tuna? You're an LA Rams fan. Shouldn't you like the Lakers? We hate the Lakers. I'm saying it. We hate the Lakers. As a Rams fan, I know it seems very conflicting for me to say that. But if you look at the number I'm wearing, number 34, Paul Pierce, the story there. When I was a kid, started watching basketball. I liked the color green. I never heard anybody else have the same name as me, Pierce, and it stuck. Paul Pierce was dope, and it was before I even knew where the hell Boston was. But here we are, Rams and Celtics fan in the flesh. But I'm off topic. Today is all about the Las Vegas Raiders. Today, on this episode, we have Superfan Amanda. She's going to tell us a little bit about the Raider way and how football Sundays with her late father cemented the silver and black in their lives forever. Really cool story. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for episode 5. My special guest, our first official Raiders superfan, boots on the ground, repping her Raiders gear today, single mom of 2, the best baker of all things cupcakes in the Central Valley, averaging 10 assists by Red Bull per week, the Raider fanatic herself. Everybody welcome Amanda.
Hello, hello.
What's up, dog? How we doing today?
I'm doing great.
Great day to be a Raider?
Always.
Well, thanks for coming on. I know you are not a fan of being famous and on camera, so no. I appreciate you shaking those nerves off and representing Raider Nation.
Gotta do it.
Let's jump right into it. I always ask all my guests kind of the football story because that's what we do here at First and Tuna. I want to know what made you love the game. Was it a family member? Was it just, hey, you saw that silver and black and you're like, that's my shit? Talk to me. You got fondest memories growing up with the Raiders, or what's your football story?
Man, it just goes way back to the day I was born, basically. My dad was a Raider fan through and through. Had season tickets starting back when they came back from LA. So it was in my household. It was every Sunday. It was football. Didn't matter who was on the screen. We were watching football, which was, the best thing. Going to Raider games every single year. Just, it was a vibe. Raider vibe for sure. Tailgating, people getting rowdy. It was always something.
To say the least, rowdy. Yeah. Very
least. It was just a vibe.
Did you guys ever, with the season tickets, did you guys ever sit in the black hole, or did you guys have like your designated area where you always were in that section?
Yeah, no, my dad had top of the black hole. we moved around a lot. We like to change it up every now and then. We every bit of that place was home to me. We spent a lot of time in my uncle's seats, which was really cool, which is right there on the 45-yard line, like 20 rows up. It was great. It was amazing.
Nice.
And it's a family. It doesn't matter how old you were family.
I'm trying to imagine like a 10-year-old Amanda just cursing, yelling at the other team. Somebody in
It,
a Chiefs jersey walking by, you're like throwing your soda at them, like get the out of here.
I threw a few bottles every now and then. They're like, "Oh, she's cute. She's little. It's fine."
Raider Nation, 12-year-olds throwing beer bottles. You gotta love it.
Yep.
But that's fandom. It's I have a huge appreciation for it just because I get a little envious of kind of the Midwest and East Coast football crowds because like that's all they have. Like, and you have a snowy middle of nowhere town.
Mm-hmm.
The best representation of that in California, honestly, Raiders fans. Like you guys are pure football animosity.
Absolutely.
Completely jealous of that. Talk to me a little bit. I know a little bit about your background with the family. You mentioned fandom in the Raider Nation
Mm-hmm.
is a family. I know you guys got a pretty special connection involving your dad too. Is that something you want to talk about?
Yeah. So me and my dad just never really got along. The only time we ever got along was football Sundays, especially, taking the trip out through the Altamont to O.co. We were always, there was something special. We always listened to music along the way. And then it was like we forgot all of our troubles along the way and got there and enjoyed great football. Came home crying a lot of the time. Not because we were fighting, but because, the Raiders and where we are. But it was always nice, all the way up to his dying day, he was a Raider. So I was able to hold the flag for him after he passed out on the field. It was great. So till his dying day, we're Raiders.
That is and like nothing short of incredible. Obviously, condolences to you and the family.
Thank
I
you.
know it's been some years, but that is a hell of a way for your spirit to go out. Like being somewhere you love, like having your family take you there and
Mhm.
be part of that. Some sort of closure for you as well. So I
Absolutely.
just think it was. Thank you for sharing that. I know it's probably not fun to tell the public stuff
Yeah.
like that, but
A little bit, but it's cool.
but 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 it's for the love of football, and it goes deeper than just I want my team to score more points on a Sunday.
It
So
is,
I appreciate you sharing that.
of course.
The so speaking of emotion, like you go from that and you have such a special connection to that place, right?
Hmm.
Even though you've got like a baseball diamond in the middle of the football field, like that's your guys' home. How did you feel 4 years ago when they finally up and left to go to Las Vegas?
I still wake up in cold sweats because this is not fun. it's it sucks knowing that Sunday is a little different because I always went to the games. I haven't been to a game at Vegas yet, which is rough because that's where I feel most home, is on the field watching my team play and not just on a screen. So it's been a bit of a struggle. I'm happy because, we're finally being represented the way I feel like we are. We have a great stadium. It's just no longer home to us.
I haven't been there yet myself. A little hesitancy just because like the whole Vegas experience, that's not really my scene. As like outgoing as I seem, like I'd rather be here in the studio just behind a computer screen. But from what I hear, it's an epic stadium. Do you feel like do you definitely feel like a little reluctant to go out there just because location?
Location's a big thing. I've had plenty of family friends to take the trip out there, and all true Raider fans can say it's not home. It's nice. It's great. It's beautiful. The flame is gorgeous. Everything's clean, pristine, but it's just not the vibes anymore. It's not the Raider way. It's nice. It's pretty. It's great for camera. It's just not home.
Do you think they'll ever come back?
Nah. I don't know. We're like this cheating spouse that keeps coming back. So who knows? Maybe one day.
This is a third city now. You guys went from LA to Oakland, LA, Oakland,
Yep.
Vegas. Like,
We like to
damn,
touch everywhere.
just spread, just spreading that Raider seed everywhere.
Yep.
Oh my
A
god.
little here there.
Great segue. You mentioned that key phrase that every Raiders fan knows and basically lives and dies by the Raider way, coined popularly by former owner Al Davis, RIP to him. And now it's supposed to carry on through Mark Davis and his son. Do you think that Raider way is kind of back? What does that mean to you? And yeah, tell me about it.
I definitely think we lost it for a very long time. I think we're finally starting to feel a taste of it. Do I think there's a lot more room for it? Absolutely. Mark Davis is there. I think he can definitely get a little bit more of that grit. I don't think he has that grit that we needed. I think we're starting. We're starting somewhere.
You don't think the haircut just screams grit
I mean, like, what is it?
with the
This?
bowl cut?
Like,
Yeah, like
what is it?
literally, dude is a multi-millionaire,
Hey,
probably borderline billionaire, and he's got a bowl cut. It's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. No, I don't know. It's the gardener who cuts his hair, I guess.
Yeah, the Raider way, I definitely, I think, kind of came to. Man, I had some fun last season on the podcast, just kind of poking fun at you guys. Like,
I know.
what was Josh McDaniels doing? Like that wasn't any way. That wasn't forget the Raider way. That just wasn't a football way whatsoever.
No, he was trying to incorporate some, Patriot way, but it wasn't us, and
It's
nobody
the
was
last
happy.
organization that wants to hear anything Patriots do.
No,
As many lows as you guys have had over the last decade, 2 decades, it definitely felt like a stark contrast. Like that transition with interim head coach Antonio Pierce, there's just something different about him.
mm-hmm.
Like every once in a while, a team will have to go through a transition where they have an interim coach
Exactly.
due to a firing, and it's like, oh, personality, players love him. But this one felt different because he embodied the Raider way. I know he was like a Raider fan growing up, right?
Compton. He was
So
straight from
he's
Compton.
from Compton, right? I didn't do
Hmm.
my research properly on this. Apparently,
Come on, dude.
I'm struggling. This is my fourth team in like a week. I'm trying. Yeah, so that just makes even more sense. Like if he's from the streets of LA, like yeah,
He
he's through
knows.
and through a Raider, and the attitude just kind of comes out, and the players back him up like crazy.
Absolutely.
Are you excited about the Antonio Pierce era?
But I like that. I think I'm gonna start a new shirt. It says like Antonio Pierce era. That
There
sounds.
you go.
I like it. Um, no, I think it is. He screams the Raider way. He has the grit. He has the dirty. He's ready to put in work, and he's shown. I mean, immediately went into winning. He had a couple losses, but I mean, he's like, this is where we're gonna get better at, and we have to do it. And it's not just he's not blaming team, he's not blaming a certain player or anything. He's coming and saying we have work, and he's including himself and the upper management on it. And that's what I like. He's changing the organization, but in positive ways. He's bringing back that grit that Al Davis had.
I love it. Yeah, it definitely. So even from the outside, so I love hearing it from a Raiders fan because from the outside, it does seem like there's a special connection there that only somebody who deeply cares about the organization that has a personal investment in it outside of just a contract and a job
Exactly.
that this type of organization needs that kind of turnaround. Because if anyone's not familiar who hasn't been following the Raiders history that much, I'm not kidding. When it's been a rough 2 decades, you guys saw some success making the playoffs with Derek Carr, but with every high, there comes extreme lows.
Exactly.
This seems to be a new era and heading in the right direction. And I think part of that, coupled with Antonio Pierce, is Mark Davis willing to spend more money. I think ultimately it just always comes down to that. You got to be willing to pay for, or have the taxpayers pay. It's a different conversation for our new
Yeah.
stadium, coaches, shell out those big contracts for actual good talent and keep them rather than just sign somebody that's past their prime. So
Yep.
I'm excited for you guys. Speaking of guys potentially past their prime, one of the key narratives. So here at First and Tuna, we cover big picture narratives. Like you can't just look at one player or one thing in a vacuum. Narratives typically play out from April all the way until February the next year when the Super Bowl concludes. One narrative that's gonna be a big one for you guys all season is quarterback. What are you guys gonna do there? Before I jump into details, how do you feel about Jimmy G leaving?
There is a God.
Don't say that.
He did look really good in silver and black, I must say. For all these ladies out here, we were very excited. But for real fans, I mean, he was just washed up, just like the reason why he needed to leave the Niners. I mean, he's overrated to me. He's not putting in the numbers.
It was, yeah, he was brought on last year. Again, a McDaniels signing that just didn't make sense
Mm-mm.
for that money. Like I could see him coming in for a specific role, either a backup role or a gap, like coach up and teach a younger like superstar.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think he played 2 or 3 games, got hurt, and then never got seen again. Quarterback situation you guys have right now. Your starter is slated to be former Indianapolis Colts quarterback Gardner Minshew, one of my personal favorites. He's just like a dude's dude, like super hippie. He's got the long hair. Lives like in a camper half the time. Like I wouldn't be shocked if he's like living in the stadium parking lot as we speak.
He might be using their running water.
No, if you haven't seen, do you watch Max Crosby's podcast at all?
A little bit, yeah.
He was just on there, and I caught a little bit of it. And the whole time he's talking, I'm like, I want to hang with this guy so badly. Like he just seems
He's
so cool.
he's rando, you know.
He's so random, but he literally they call him Uncle Rico because he literally looks like Uncle Rico right
Everybody's
now
Uncle Rico.
from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yep.
Like, all right. So yeah, him coming in. Do you have any feelings, thoughts on him potentially being the starter? Do you see it being on a long term thing?
I don't think it's going to be long term at all. I think he might get a few games in and we just let him go again. We're on this repetition where we're getting be consistent in being okay. I'm tired of being okay. I want action, and I don't feel like we're getting it yet. But we'll see. I mean, he's kind of got the Raider way. So we'll see. Hopefully, our O line and our receivers do something with it. I can't put it all on him either. So
No, absolutely. You did hit it right on the head though, where you gotta like if you want to win, you gotta have that guy at quarterback. Like you need your guy. Like no questions, no. Oh, maybe he'll be good for another year or two. Any of the past Super Bowl winners, go down the list. You got Mahomes, Brady, Stafford, Nick Foles being like the one random just backup like years ago. No, history says like if you want to win a Super Bowl, you need to have a franchise quarterback or at least make it. Gardner Minshew, I kind of agree. Like he's super fun to watch. He's a gamer. Like he's a great football player. Doesn't necessarily mean he's an elite quarterback. Like those are two completely different things. I do think you guys might end up picking up somebody in the draft. Who that is, I don't know. Like I told Baron on my last episode, I don't like dabbling in the potential trade in the draft because I don't know. I don't know who will trade with other people. I'm not in those phone calls, obviously. But last year, your starter Aiden O'Connell, he's still there. He had some good games, like manageable games. Kind of showed that he may be a backup potential. Still very young. It was his rookie year, right?
yeah.
Rookie year. So right now your roster includes Uncle Rico and Aiden O'Connell. It's a cool story. It's nice, but like you said, I would love to see you guys do something, bringing in a franchise quarterback, so that way you guys can establish and move forward, being playoff caliber. Regardless of who's at quarterback, obviously you guys are going to be fighting for playoff spots. You got to get past Patrick Mahomes in the AFC West. You got Jim Harbaugh now on the Chargers. So you guys are going to have a fun division this year. What are your thoughts on how the season goes for the Raiders?
I hate to say it. I mean, I don't see more than batting 500. I don't see more than 50-50. I don't foresee us going anywhere better than that, to be honest, unless we pick up a great quarterback, our O line gets their crap together, and our D line stays efficient.
They just need all they need rather than coaching. They need like a motherly voice to just be at practice yelling at them like, "Hey, get your shit together.
That's all they need.
What are we doing?
Just do better."
Don't be sorry. Be better. Top 5. I'm gonna surprise you with this one. So not necessarily best all time, but I want to hear your favorite all time top 5 Raiders in history.
You're getting me. I love Lynch. Lynch is great. Crosby's like right now he's my go-to. Mad Max is crazy. He's sit down, little boy. Like he embodies it so much, and he even does it in the in his day-to-day life. It's not just how he does football, it's how he, parents, it's how he acts as a humanitarian. He has that big foundation for pit bulls, and he's standing up for them just like he
Yeah, I
stands
didn't
up
know
for
that.
us Raiders. I like
He seems like I don't know how to like. I'm gonna sound so stereotypical. I mean, he just kind of looks like a Raiders fan.
he embodies all Raider fans.
Like if I saw him like
Just
at a restaurant somewhere and he just walking through, like, and we were in Stockton, I'd be like, he's definitely a Raiders fan.
hmm for sure. You don't get it
Damn.
tattooed on your elbow for no reason.
That totally makes sense. So you got Crosby. You said Lynch first one. What Lynch am I thinking? Not thinking about.
Marshawn?
Oh my god. I don't know why thought John Lynch. I was like, did John Lynch play for the? Sorry, Beast Mode. You guys call him by his real name, Beast Mode.
I mean, Crabtree was always someone good. McFadden, can't hate it.
Man, what would have been with Darren McFadden if you guys were in prime Derek Carr days with McFadden? I think he would have had a little bit better of a career. Like he was such a good running back. He was so cool to watch.
hmm
So we got Marshawn Lynch. Who else we got? Max Crosby. We
Mc-
like Michael Crabtree,
Crabtree. Mac.
Darren McFadden, and who?
Mac. He only got 6 sacks against us last year in one game.
Oh, Mac. I'm
Mac.
thinking.
Mac.
I'm thinking you're talking like nicknames.
No, Mac. Mac.
Oh man, so that's a topic we could add in here. So Khalil Mack and Derek Carr were like brought in the same year. They were the saviors. Like they were the saviors. Like you
Yep.
got your defensive player of the year, you got your potential franchise QB, and he's from California in the Valley. Like that's your dude.
That's our guy.
So that whole Derek Carr situation with him leaving, it got a little ugly at the end there.
It did.
What was like the fans' take? Because I was obviously everyone was kind of paying attention to it. It seemed a little petty on both sides,
Yeah.
but really kind of like how it transpired. You want to break it down for us?
Derek Carr was a great quarterback. I think we could have done better by him, but at the end of the day, nothing was being performed right. I mean, there was a lot of talks behind closed doors about locker room etiquette, and he just didn't. He didn't build what was needed in the locker room. It wasn't hyped up enough. It wasn't. You saw some clips, and it was like, "Hey guys, like, let's go, cool." But what else can we do? It didn't seem like he was taking responsibility in some actions and post blame a lot, and other people just kind of gave up on it.
I'm very curious, kind of what was happening behind those closed doors, because from all I've heard, because our mutual friend Malik
Mm.
like played with him, and from every story I've ever heard, like just sounds like a great dude. Like through and through, sounds like a good dude.
Yeah,
So when you hear like one, he's a franchise QB, good dude, getting kind of thrown through the mud like that, like, and you got sloppiness from the organization. It's like, what the fuck is happening?
exactly. It's crazy. Yeah, he's a good person. Like you see him outside of like the organization. He has how many kids, and he's all about every single one of them. He does all this fun stuff for other people and
Super
fans.
involved with the church and godly too. Like he preaches
Exactly.
that a lot. Yeah.
He's very, he's an all around great person, but it didn't seem like he fit the way very well. I mean, with the Saints, I feel like he's doing so much better just overall in the organization. So I'm glad that they took him on, because I don't know what would have happened if it came down to it.
Throwing Devontae Adams into that mix too, like the fact that Devontae came for Derek
For
Carr,
him.
and obviously the Raiders too, because this is home for him. But it's just like, man, I was afraid you guys were going to let go or trade Devontae Adams. Like, you guys still might. Like
He,
I'm a little
he said
worried
he
about
doesn't
that.
want to go. He said he wants to stay. He said he swears he didn't come for Carr, but I mean, he came for Carr. But
That's your
I don't think
boy. Who you fooling?
yeah, exactly. I don't think he's ready to go yet. I think he sees potential, and he's like, I think I'm going to stick this out a little longer.
Being 500 for a first year under a rookie head coach, I know you guys want greatness. That's phenomenal. I don't care what anybody says for a rookie head coach. especially when one with limited experience coaching like Antonio Pierce. So we see 500. You got any hot blazing takes for the year? Do you see Devontae Adams win Offensive Player of the Year? Do you got any hot takes outside of the record?
Outside of the record? Ooh.
Yeah. This is where you get to just be a fan and say, hey, my team's the best. This is what's happening.
I don't want to lie.
Damn.
I'm a realist at the same time.
And that's the state of the Raider Nation right now.
Yeah.
That face and I don't want to lie. I think 500 is acceptable. Like, I think you can almost get into the playoffs at 500.
If we can hit wild card, we might have a chance.
Make some noise with a rookie quarterback. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I do wrap up every episode with a random thought of the day. When I started this podcast, I was putting random thoughts about like motivational stuff, just random thoughts out of my head about, what if this happened? And then my ADHD brain took over and it just turned into mush and conspiracy theories. And I just want to put them out there and ask my guest. So I'm going to revisit a past one I had because I did it solo and I didn't get to ask somebody before. My thought of the day is In-N-Out is overrated.
God, why are you so evil?
I will die on this hill. I don't care what anybody says. It's overrated.
It is not. It's delicious.
It's cool. It's fine.
The mushy cheese that just like sops into the paper that you have to like peel off, and sometimes you eat the paper too. It's amazing.
It's Kraft Singles. I got Kraft Singles in my fridge.
But you got
I got Kraft Singles. Was it Thousand Island? I got that in the fridge too. I think for the price, absolutely. Like, it's got to be a go-to. I'm a cheap bastard. Like, yeah. Absolutely.
I got you.
Even McDonald's is like, if I'm getting a meal, that's like a $15, $20 purchase damn near at this point.
Yep.
But thumbs up from, okay, thanks iPhone. The fact that any In-N-Out at any given day, if I go to and there's like a 15, 20 minute wait in the drive-thru, I think that's ridiculous.
Just get out of the car, go inside, you're in there 5 minutes.
By the time I get it, that's not fast food. I can go home and make food by that time.
True. But are you? Are you going to go home and make food?
I've gotten threats over this. I've been told to denounce my Californian citizenship.
You are no longer a Californian.
And people ask me, so here's a follow-up to that. What are the options besides In-N-Out then that I'm willing to die for? The best one in America is Steak and Shake. Steak and Shake is amazing.
Never had. Is it local?
No, they are too good for California at this point. Honestly, if I'm just hungry in the middle of the day, I'll pick a double bacon Western cheeseburger over In-N-Out any day.
Really?
Give me Carl's Jr.
We're going that way out.
You heard it here first. Carl's Jr. sponsor us. I'm out here fighting for my life against In-N-Out fanatics for you guys. As we're closing out, do you have any final thoughts for Raider Nation?
Just win, baby.
You're so fucking corny. Bro, I knew you were going to say that shit.
I had to.
Lame. All right, we're ending this podcast.